realfaith.org.au.
In Chile, they have a word called pololo, or polola. It means boyfriend, girlfriend. Now, I went to the people that I was staying with, the pastors, and I said I was going to ask her to become my novia. I was thinking boyfriend, girlfriend, and they asked me, oh, do you know what that means? I said, yeah. So I asked her, and she says yes. But I didn't realize that I'm actually asking her to marry me.
Welcome to Real Faith. Conversations about the impact faith has on our lives and the challenges we go through, helping us today and giving us hope for tomorrow. That's real people, real life, and real faith with Eric Scatterbo.
Well, today we have part 2 of my conversation with David Carter from New Zealand, who's sharing his remarkable life journey. As we heard last time, this interview came about spontaneously while David was visiting the office of Reach Beyond Australia, where our Melbourne studios are located. Now, I was just minding my own business in the hallway when it was suggested to me that I might want to interview David, whose wife is from Chile. Well, I'm not one to pass up an interview opportunity, so I quickly grabbed David and got him into the studio. Little did I know that what would follow would be one of the most romantic and interesting love stories of all time, one of my all-time favorites. Now, as we heard last time, David felt a calling to ministry soon after he became a Christian as a young adult. Specifically, he was interested in becoming a missionary and went to South America after Bible school. While in Chile, he was invited to a Christian conference, and that's where we'll pick up the story today as I continue my conversation with David Carter. You went to South America not having any language.
I had done this very small tourist-type course.
Donde está el baño? Where's the bathroom?
Yeah, donde está el baño? Es muy importante.
Sí, I agree, yes. Very important.
Yeah, that was about the limit of my Spanish in reality. And then
that's a start, yeah.
I remember people speaking, I was like, oh my goodness, they speak so fast. How am I ever going to learn this language?
Well, having been a missionary in South America myself for only a year and a half, I can relate to that. It's like there's school and there's class and then there's reality. I go to the church and I'm like, something Jesus, something God. My big accomplishment was to order food at a McDonald's drive-thru.
Well,
that was the best I could do.
But
Hamburguesa.
It's good.
Queso is cheese, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, but it's all about you. Get back to you.
All good.
So you're going to this conference.
I go to this conference and I meet this girl, and
I should say the reason I'm here in Australia is because I was terrible at Spanish. Hence I'm here. But anyway, back to you.
That's probably the reason I'm back in New Zealand as well.
We have yet another thing in common.
Yeah. We kind of made a connection there. When
Who made a connection?
This girl and myself.
Oh, well, come in. You got to give me more details. So you're at this conference.
And I just see this girl, and it's like, oh, yeah, she looks interesting. She's sitting by herself. I might go and have a conversation with her.
With your 5 words in Spanish?
Yeah, well, my mate went with me soon to translate a little bit, so it was good. And we kind of started a conversation, and then during the conference, we talk a little bit more and stuff like that.
Now,
and then
was she interested in you?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like leaving the conference, I didn't get her contact, but I spoke to one of her friends, and he gave me her contact. So when I go back to where I was living in the northern or kind of central part of Chile, I wrote a letter to her.
Did you like her?
Yeah.
Okay, so
she's pretty cool.
Okay.
And the funny thing is that I didn't know about this. She had also asked my mate for my contact.
Oh, the same guy?
No, a different guy.
Oh, a different guy, okay.
Yeah, my friend.
Okay.
That had gone with
So
me.
you're asking one of her friends, she's asking one of your friends. Okay.
Exactly. And
the stars are aligning here.
And then we start writing. I write and she writes at the same time, and our letters passed in the post.
And you had
this
no
is
idea.
snail mail, right? Okay,
Yeah. No, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day. And so I had no idea.
So you
and she
get-
had no idea either.
So you get a letter in the mail from her.
Yeah. About the same time, she's probably getting a letter from me.
Oh, man, that is cool. That is
And
cool.
then we're just like writing to each other like that for like 6 months. Oh, not even 6 months, maybe about 3 or 4 months.
So what did you think when you got that letter?
It's like, oh, man, this is awesome. This is really amazing.
She likes me.
Yeah. Or at least she's interested anyway.
Yeah.
Which
But-
was great.
But she's writing even before she received your letter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that now, you're right. That's a good story.
Yeah. Oh, that's only the start.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
Okay. I'm interested.
So after a couple of months, I said, oh, would I be able to come down to visit for a couple of weeks? And she said, yeah. She obviously spoke to her parents because she was living at home. And I went and spoke to the people that I was staying with. Well, this is a funny thing, because like in Chile, just in Chile, there is a different word for boyfriend, girlfriend. Like if you look at a dictionary, it will say novio, novia. Okay. In Chile,
That's the standard.
that's the
word
standard
for it.
one, exactly. And that's the word that I knew. In Chile, they have a word called pololo or polola.
Never
And
heard of it. What?
It means boyfriend, girlfriend.
But only in Chile.
Only in Chile.
Okay.
Exactly. Now, I went to the people that I was staying with, the pastors, and I said, I was going to ask her to become my novia. I was thinking boyfriend, girlfriend. And they asked me, oh, do you know what that means? I said, yeah. Because I was just thinking, boyfriend, girlfriend. And they said, okay, well, you're going to need to ask for permission of the parents. Because I said, okay, well, Chilean culture, sure, So I go down there and I think, okay, well, I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. I'll wait 1 week to see how the relationship goes. And then I'll ask her. And she had prayed, I'll give him 1 week.
Oh,
And
my goodness. You guys are on the same wavelength.
we're on the same wavelength. And then, so I ask her, and she says yes. But I didn't realize that I'm actually asking her to marry me. Because in Chile, I've bypassed the polola.
The boyfriend,
And,
girlfriend.
Yeah, and gone straight
went right
to novio or novia, and that's like engagement.
Oh.
And I didn't realize that at this stage, right? And so we go and ask the parents, and they say yes, which is even more incredible. And they've only known me for a week.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's like, okay, so they're wanting to get rid of it. No. And then in Chile, they have a ceremony where when you're engaged, where you exchange rings, but you're putting it on your right hand instead of the left hand.
So did you do the ceremony?
No, we were planning to do it.
But you didn't know the significance of it.
Yeah, by this stage, like when they started talking about this, I was like, oh yeah, no, hang on, no, this is a little bit more
yeah, okay,
than just,
so you figured it out. Okay.
Yeah. And so I said to her, like, okay, this wasn't really what I was expecting, but I didn't want to go into the relationship not thinking that this is going to be something long-term, that we were thinking about marriage.
Okay.
So I don't mind, that's cool. And before we had met, she had decided her sister was living in Santiago, and I wasn't too far away from Santiago. It's kind of like in the middle of the country. And my wife now, she had decided that she was going to move to Santiago before she had met me. So she moved up to Santiago, and we were going out. I'd go to Santiago as often as I could, which was usually most weekends. And
I'm assuming your Spanish improved by then?
yeah, it's slowly improving, yeah.
Okay.
And
You didn't unknowingly ask for marriage for anybody?
no, I didn't ask for marriage for anybody else. no.
Anybody else? Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, just
Yeah,
checking.
Just stuck
Okay.
to the one girl.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, didn't want to have multiple wives.
Well, today, once again, I'm chatting with David Carter from New Zealand, who's sharing the remarkable story of how he accidentally proposed marriage to a young lady in Chile because of a mix-up with the language. And incredibly, she said yes. And once they got that all straightened out, it all seemed to be going well in their relationship. That was until she began to get cold feet, and then it looked like the relationship was over. We'll hear how God works in both of their lives when we return right here on Real Faith.
The Word for Today is Australia's most widely read daily devotional, designed to give you practical teaching to keep you focused on your relationship with Jesus. Read it online or subscribe to the free printed edition at thewordfortoday.com.au.
You're listening to Real Faith, conversations with real people about how God works in their lives. If you want to know more about integrating faith into your life, our website is realfaith.org.au. Just go to the website and you'll find helpful articles about the impact faith can have on your life. Once again, that's realfaith.org.au.
Welcome back. I'm Eric Scatabo, and today, once again, I'm chatting with David Carter from New Zealand, who's sharing one of the most romantic and interesting love stories of all time. As we heard before the break, David was in Chile to do ministry work when he met and fell in love with a young Chilean lady who he met at a conference. After accidentally proposing marriage to her, their relationship continued and all seemed to be going well. That was until they hit a rocky patch and everything seemed to fall apart. Now we'll find out what happens next as David continues to share his story.
I was due to come back to New Zealand in July, and we couldn't set a date for when we were going to have the ceremony to exchange rings.
The engagement ceremony.
Right. And so my wife started getting cold feet. And
she agreed after 1 week, but now she's having cold feet.
yeah, in May. So this was May by then. So she sent me
Wait a second. Did she agree to marry you?
Yeah.
Oh, so she thought it was marriage.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. And in May, we were together, and I was kind of sensing that it was a little bit strange. And a week later, she sends me a letter saying that she's wanting to break up. And so I was like, okay, so that's it. And I went and told the people, and they said, the pastors that I was with, and they said, are you going to give up so easily? And so I said, okay, I'll pray about it. And I felt God say, okay, I want you to pray all night. I want you to fast, and then I want you to go and see her. So I went away and prayed, and I felt God say, I want you to go now. So I went down, and I caught just as the bus was about to leave to go to Santiago. And so I got to her sister's place. Now, she was working in the countryside, so in the weekend she was at her sister's, and then she'd go to the place where she was working because she lived and stayed there. And I caught her just as she was leaving her sister's place. So I went on the bus with her. And I was like, I had all the letters she had sent and the verses in the Bible, that to say, I really believe this is right, and I know that you love me and stuff like that. And I said, I know this is right, but I need God to speak to you. And I already knew that he was going to do that because he had told me that he would speak to her. So I got off the bus with her, and the people where she was working would come and pick her up and then take her. And I'd never been there, no idea where it was. And so I said, I'm going to stay here and pray. So I stayed at the bus stop during the whole night and prayed. And then at 5 o'clock in the morning, God said, it's not for now, it's for later. And I said, God, I'm not interested in that. I want either a yes or a no. And so I said,
wow, you're demanding.
Yeah. I went, I found out where she was living. I said, I thought I'll go and speak to her and I'll say, look, don't worry, I won't bother her anymore. I'll just give up on it. So I went there, I found it.
Now you risk being called a stalker, you realize.
Well, I mean, even just getting there, God organized it.
Yeah.
Like I had just one letter with the address at the bottom of the envelope.
Yeah.
And so I went to the shop and they said, no, we don't know. But then this guy behind me said, oh, yeah, I know where that is. I'll take you there.
Wow.
So I went there. He was driving around, couldn't find it. I was about to leave and the boss of this area, because it was like a compound, came out and he said, oh, yeah, I know where that is. It's down over there. So I went down over there.
Wow. This is getting better and better.
And I go and knock on the door and she comes out.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, what are you doing here? I said, well, I've been praying all night and I just want to let you know that I'm not going to bother you anymore. Let's just be the end. I'll leave you alone. And she said, oh, God spoke to me in the morning
Oh, man.
and said it's not for now, it's for later. Then, she invited me in and it was like, wow, this is almost like normal again. And we talked and we said, okay, well, let's put a month on it and see what happens. We'll come back in a month's time, see what happens. I came back a month later, like I was praying hugely during that time.
Yeah.
Came back and it felt really wrong. Something's wrong. I get there, she doesn't want to talk to me, nothing. So it's like, okay, cool. No worries, we'll just leave it. I saw her one more time before I left Chile, and it was cold. I mean, it was like ice.
Yeah.
I flew back to New Zealand. I tore up her letters, put them in the bin, sold the rings that we had bought and stuff.
I know you've been married 25 years. What happened?
And then I was still kind of thinking about going back to Chile. And so I got involved with SIM and they said, oh, you need to do more Bible studies. So I go to Bible school, back down to Faith Bible College again. And then one day I'm coming out of class and her uncle comes out of the other class.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, hang on, what's he even doing here?
Yeah.
Like I knew he was in New Zealand. He's a pastor in Chile and he was involved with a prison ministry. And they had brought him to New Zealand. But I didn't know where he was and I wasn't even interested in
on the
finding
other side
him
of
or
the
anything.
world. Wow.
And he comes out of the other classroom of the same Bible college that I'm in.
Yeah.
And so we end up having lunch together and talking and stuff. And then he gives me his address. He tells me, oh, Ilda, she's still single. It's like, oh, really? It's like, okay. So I send him a letter, and in that I include a letter for her.
Yeah.
Didn't get a reply. A little bit later, I can't remember, maybe a couple of months, I send another letter to him, but for her.
Yeah.
And she replies to me. So we start writing to each other again.
Okay.
And then about a year, maybe 2 years later, I ask her, because this time we've been writing to each other.
This is all in Spanish.
All in Spanish, yeah.
Yeah.
And I ask her if she wants to be my girlfriend again. And she says, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's
and then I said, oh, do you want to come over to New Zealand? And she's never been outside of Chile before in her life.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, okay. Which is a pretty big thing, I think her mum wasn't really keen on her coming, but her dad was like, oh, yeah, you should go. Actually, it might have been the other way around, but anyway. So she came over.
Met your family?
Met my family. And we, building the relationship. After 3 months, I asked her if she wants to marry me. Actually, I took her up to the Sky Tower and said, if you don't marry me, I'm going to push you. So she said, yeah, nah. But she did say yes. So
You did propose to her at the Sky Tower.
I did
Minus
propose
the
to-
pushing.
Yeah,
part.
minus
I
the
got you.
pushing,
Okay,
yeah. And then we got married another 3 months later,
Fantastic. That is a remarkable story.
and nearly 25 years, like you said.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I grabbed you out in the lobby and had you come in here. I had no idea about all this,
Yeah,
but I
it's
thought, that would
amazing.
be kind of interesting. How did you meet your Chilean wife?
It's just amazing how God pulled it all together.
Yeah.
You know, how He spoke to us the same thing and
Yeah.
did things.
Had some challenges in there, as we heard.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But
Did you ever find out why she was kind of getting cold feet?
yes, because she didn't think that I would find a job when I came back to New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
She didn't think that I would go back to Chile or anything like that. So she was worried that would be the
Okay.
end. But
Okay.
it wasn't because she didn't love me.
No. Unfortunately,
Obviously.
we're running out of time, but
Yep.
we should fast forward through the rest of your life. You go on to marry her. The two of you plant a church in Argentina eventually.
That's right.
We're skipping over a lot of stuff here,
Yeah,
honestly.
we are, but that's good.
But you were involved in ministry. Now you're back. You just got
Back
back
in New Zealand.
in New Zealand about 6 months ago.
That's right.
Now you're involved in a Latin American church here. Well, I should not here,
In Chile-
not
in
in
New
Australia,
Zealand.
in New Zealand,
Right.
but on this side of the world, across
Yes.
the ditch.
Uh-huh.
And so that's kind of takes us up to today.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's amazing.
David Carter, thank you so much for sharing
Thank
that
you.
incredible story. I'm so glad I asked you to come in the studio.
It's been fantastic talking with you.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Well, that was the conclusion of my spontaneous conversation with David Carter from New Zealand. And wow, what an incredible love story. It was great to hear how God worked in both their lives and orchestrated events to eventually bring them back together after it looked like their romance was over. As we heard, David was one determined young man and was going to do whatever it takes to see if their relationship would work, which included praying all night on a bus stop. As it says in the Bible, take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Also, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. And we certainly heard how the Lord directed the paths of both David and his wife Hildy. They now have been married 25 years and have 2 children. Also, they have been involved in ministry together both back in South America and now at a Latin American-focused church in New Zealand. Finally, we should mention that the reason David Carter was visiting the studios located at the Reach Beyond office in Melbourne is because he is now with the Ministry of Reach Beyond in New Zealand. To find out more about Reach Beyond New Zealand, their website is reachbeyond.nz. Once again, that's reachbeyond.nz. Well, thanks so much for joining us for David Carter's incredibly romantic story of meeting his wife in South America. I'm so glad we had a chance to record it. And until next time, I'm Eric Scadabo. So long, and God bless.
You've been listening to Real Faith, and if you have any questions or comments, you can send us a message through our website, realfaith.org.au. That's realfaith.org.au.
Real Faith is a production of Vision Christian Media.
This program is a production of Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, see vision.org.au.